Hi, I decided to do a short review video before bed, and it's kind of late where I am. But anyway, I decided instead of talking about a series in whole, I'm going to take it book by book, and I'm going to do that for I guess my favorite series. And I'm going to start with manga, and I'm going to start with Fullmetal Alchemist. So if you know nothing about Fullmetal Alchemist, I've never read the manga. I'm only going to talk about the manga. I might talk about the anime some other time. But if you've never read it or even seen the anime, because um yeah, don't watch this video because there's a shit ton of spoilers. Just say okay. So that's spoiler to spoiler. So basically, Fullmetal Alchemist is about Edward Elric and his brother Alphonse, who learned alchemy in an alternate universe. Um, uh, and okay, so history on alchemy, from what I remember, because I didn't look shit up before I started this video. Alchemy first started science. So everything that started off science came from alchemy, kind of, except we still can't make rocks into gold, and we can't make anything that'll help us live longer. But alchemy and people who studied in alchemy thought you could do that. Like the Chinese alchemists thought there really was an elixir of life. And mostly all of the alchemy in Fullmetal comes from the European idea of alchemy. So just go look up more on that if you really want to know more on that, because I can't remember a whole ton of it. And they have like a little blurb in the back of this in the back of this manga that kind of explains the whole alchemy thing in Fullmetal. So there's that little thing in it. And oh, by the way, I should say that Fullmetal Alchemist is by Hiromu Arakawa, when she did the story and the art. So anyway, of course, it's about these two boys, Ed and Al, who, in the first chapter, they're going to a city called Lior that is mind controlled by an evil dude called Cornello, who is basically turned the whole city into one of those really fanatical religious place, like that place in Colorado City and stuff, like it's not, it's, yeah, okay, it's really weird because it's not religion how us normal people see it. It's more like it went from normal religion to fanatical to like something else, and I forgot the word, but there's a word for it that and it, yeah, okay, I like Jamestown. You know, that's where the term "don't drink the Kool-Aid" came from, was what happened in Jamestown. So Cornelia controls a city like that, and so Ed and Al are basically the outsiders. And of course, since everybody believes in Leto, the sun god, which is like the fake religion. Okay, look, I'm talking about the religion in Fullmetal Alchemist. It really is kind of like religion, how we kind of know it now, except, like I said, it's got that whole, oh, I can't remember the word, Jamestown. It's got the whole Jamestown vibe to it. And Cornello is like a fake priest. He doesn't believe in any of it. He just wants an army of people to have a rebellion against the army in Amistris, which isn't looked on very well in the manga, the army. But you know what? A lot of people don't like the army in real life anyway, so it makes sense, and it's something I can relate to, because a lot of people around me don't like it. Whatever. I'm not going to go into that, except if it pertains to Fullmetal Alchemist. I'm talking about the manga, okay? So these aren't my beliefs. I'm just talking over it. So in the first chapter, Ed and Al are the outsiders, and in this chapter, Edward Elric is already a state alchemist. Later on, you'll get into the test and all that fun jazz. But this is just to start it off, and I kind of like it because they explain. They don't explain it, but he demonstrates. He and Alphonse demonstrates their alchemy, and of course you got the short jokes and Edward going, "Who are you calling Bean Sprout Midget. I love his short rants. It's hilarious. And Vic Mignogna is awesome. Just saying. I love his how he does Ed's short rants. It's just brilliant. And they meet Rose, who's one of the very, very loyal followers of Cornello's religion. And she really doesn't... Uh, she's one of those forgettable characters. I mean, in the anime she comes back in later, and there's like a whole plot point with her. But I mean, it's like they didn't really build up to it, so I really dislike that idea a lot. So yeah, Rose is she's an orphan, number one. And yes, I know in a previous video I said that I love the whole orphan thing, but she's no. Because she doesn't find a family in the end. That's it. She like becomes a teacher or something. And okay, yeah, okay, being a teacher is cool. I'm not saying that it isn't. I might be one day. But it's just like that's it. It's like she doesn't do anything else. So yeah, so she becomes a teacher and stuff. But in the beginning here, she meets Ed and Al, and they follow her to the church, and well, before that, somebody says, you know, she lost her family and she lost her boyfriend, and now she's praying to the sun god Leto and doing all this other stuff for Cornello to get her boyfriend back. And it's like, these people don't understand death. What? It's like, it's not the first thing that's said in, okay, well, kinda it is. It's like the first rule of magic or alchemy or science. You can't bring back the dead, and when you do, shit goes wrong. And basically that's what happened to Ed and Al. Their mother died, and they were like really little boys. Like, Edward got a state alchemist license at the age of 12. And so, so now he's in Leora. I don't even know how many years it is after that. But anyway, it's like one of his first... Okay, I'm going on. I'm sorry. So anyway, yeah, so Rose is one of those blind follower people, and Ed and Al are the outsiders who know that Cornello is doing alchemy, but they can't figure out how because his alchemy is so powerful, and that he's not following the #1 rule of alchemy, which is you have to give something up in order to get something. So, like, if you're making a toy, you have to have, and you're using like an array that uses wood, and you want to make a toy, you have to make a wooden toy. You see what I mean? It's like one of those things. And Cornell is not doing this, so Edward Alec, of course, thinks that they found the Philosopher's Stone, which is the main goal that the brothers have throughout the whole anime and the whole manga, is they need to get the Philosopher's Stone in order to get back their original bodies, because Alphonse, when they transmuted and tried to get their mother back, for the equivalent exchange, Alphonse lost his whole body and soul to the gate people, and Edward lost his leg, and then because they took Alphonse, he did a blood seal on a suit of armor, and so he lost his arm for that transmutation. So yeah, they lost a lot, you know, and so and like it's all angst with them. It was like, oh gosh, our mother died, and then we tried to bring her back, and Al lost his whole body, and I lost an arm and a leg. I mean, it gives a different meaning to, oh well, that cost an arm and a leg. And it's like, in this one, it's like completely literally. And so the first adventure, it doesn't explain everything, but it explains enough that you understand what's going on. And what's nice is the reveal. Like, in this panel, you don't see Alphonse's head. I mean, so far, all you know is, like, some really weird dude who has a fetish of being inside a suit of armor, you know? And Edward is a very good fighter. And then you go on, and eventually, like, with the Chimera fight, where the Chimera, like, tries to gnaw off Edward's arm in this panel. See that? Yeah. And then he, like, kicks it and stuff, and you see in this one that he has metal shoulder, so you know he's like different. And yeah, then you like see the whole thing here. So I mean that really just makes Edward badass, along with the alchemy, because he can do like any alchemy with just like clapping his hands together. And so yeah, he's really awesome like that. So the first two adventures in this is just with the whole Cornello plot line, and that comes back later on. There's this like whole thing with Leor and the Ishvalan War and everything, and then and it's really funny how Ed like lets the townspeople know that Cornello's evil. Like he puts on the whole like radio system thingy, and Ed and Rose, and by this time Rose figured out that Cornello's a bad guy, and so she's not all with them anymore. And so they like broadcast Cornello admitting his plan and everything, and it's like, yeah, he's a bad guy, and he like dies at the end. Gluttony eats him, which is actually good. He sucks as a bad guy, but I mean he's like that bad guy from the old Batman Superman series, like the guy that you can get to. I mean, Cornello basically told Edward his plan like twice in both stories, in both chapters. He told it like twice, and I was like, dude, you just monologued twice. It was just because Edward pissed you off enough. Like, Edward didn't even plan it. He was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, that's funny. I love Edward. He's just so funny and everything. And so this is like one of my favorite episodes, first couple of episodes. It's one of my favorites in the anime. And, but I just realized that the original anime isn't as goofy as the manga or the new Brotherhood anime gets. So like you get a panel like this one with Edward and Gloom and everything, and Cornell's in the background. Like yeah, there's Edward. So you get stuff like that, and then it's not in the original anime, but then it's there in the Brotherhood anime. So it's like I just realized how goofy this thing is, but it's just awesome and stuff. And yeah, so of course Edward gives Roses get up on your feet and start walking or whatever. But I don't think he has much respect for her because she wants someone to do it for her, and he like has had to do it ever since their mom died. Like he and Alphonse have been taking care of themselves. I mean, yeah, Izumi Curtis is there for a while. You don't get to that till later on in the anime. I only have 4 of these mangas I can review, people, just so you know. So yeah, and let's see. The next chapter in this is the mining town, the usual mining, and I think this is one of my, this one and the train are one of my favorites. Like I will owe that in the battle between Edward and Roy. These are my favorite episodes for some reason in the manga and the anime. So in chapter 3, they go to a coal mine and they come across a lot of coal miners who pay really big taxes and they're not making a lot of money. And we all know how that went. King George III, I am talking to you. So, yeah. And so they come across this inn and these people, and like they want to stay the night, but it costs them like 2,000 yen, and I guess that's a lot of money. And so Edward instead tries to like fix stuff and everything to like pay for it, but it doesn't work out. And then they find out he's a dog of the military, and they kick him out, him and Alphonse. And Edward tries to like play off that he and Alphonse don't know each other. Okay, but Alphonse doesn't need a broom. He's a spirit in a tin suit. All you need to worry about is rain, people. Okay, I'm sorry. I always thought that was kind of... whatever. Ignore that part. And then you come across, what's his face? I don't even know what this guy's name is, but it's that Weasley-looking asshole right there. That guy. No, in the middle. Yeah, there. That's like the bad guy in this plot. And so you know, he finds out that Edward is part of the military and stuff, and so he's like, oh, come with me, come to my mansion, blah, blah, blah. So he feeds Edward and everything, and he thinks Edward is there inspecting, and he doesn't want to lose all the extra money he's taking off from the miners, because that's why he raised taxes, because he raised it um, so that the King Bradley gets the taxes he wants, but also this dude gets the money he's skimming off the top. So he's like raised it enough so that it doesn't look like he's doing it, but he is. So anyway, and Edward is like totally not stupid. So he takes the bribe and everything and promises and all that fun jazz. And then, but during the night, the inn that he and Alphonse has stayed at the night before tried to got burned down, and everybody's all pissed off, and like, I don't know, I don't think anybody died, but I can't remember. Yeah, I know, I'm flipping, I know, I say it's my favorite, but it's been a while since I've read any of this, because I tend to like read something once and put it down and then go back to it a long time later, because I don't like to remember what happened, even though I do. Like, so yeah, it's one of those dumb things. So I like to like forget and everything. So anyway, Edward takes like this thing of coal and he turns it into gold, because that's like one of the taboos of alchemy, is turning um, min minerals into gold and doing human transmutation. Um, I guess it can go. I don't know how Edward got away with what he did, because there's been some world alternate universe fanfics where he's like gone to prison and stuff. So it's like that ups the angst a lot. But anyway, oh, Yoki, that's what this dude's name is. His name's Yoki. Oh my gosh, now I just remembered. So anyway, Edward gives the dude the gold to get the deed to the town, and to get him to like sign it over in such a way where it's not stated that Edward like paid for any of it. And so then you cut to the miner people, and they're like trying to figure out what they're gonna do, and blah blah blah, and it looks like they might have a rebellion. And then Edward comes in. I love this. Like, it's like, hello, like that heart there. Like, isn't that awesome? And so then he's like, the coal mine belongs to me, and blah blah blah. But then he's like, but I'm like going from place to place, and these documents will just be in the way. And so then he's like, I'll sell it to you and stuff. And the guys, they're like, well, how much is it? And Edward was like, 2,000 yen or whatever. And it's like, oh, hey, by the way, that's like a night and meal at your inn. So let me stay the night and you can have it. And so, yeah, that's like the deal. And it's like really, like irony, you know, which is like really awesome. And then Yoki, of course, comes in and he's complaining about how the gold turned back to coal and how Edward stiffed him and everything. But then Edward shows him the contract and he's like, but you gave it to me free of charge and all that stuff. So it's like really funny, and you know, you get this panel with Yogi like spazzing out, and then the guys, the coal miners, beat up the army people and everything, and it's just like hilarious. And then you get at the end where somehow sleeping with your shirt up, showing your stomach, is like really like, what is it? Sloppy. I guess the Japanese are kind of weird like that. Like really weird stuff like that will just crop up in their manga. I can't even I don't know. Okay, and the last chapter in this manga is Battle on the Train, which is one of my favorites. This is where you finally get to meet Roy Mustang at the end of this, which is awesome. And in Edward, and this is like his iconic, like this. Look up cosplay and tell me you don't see at least a few of these, because people do a form of this all the friggin' time. It's like, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying this is an iconic, but I think they're mostly taking it from the anime, but this is the iconic pose of Edward Elric, just saying. Which I don't mind, like I said, I just like thought of that today, and I was like, well, hey dude, that's like one of the, okay, so anyway, the story. Roy Mustang and his team have gotten word that, oh no wait, ha, I missed a spot. Okay, so there's this like general on general something, Hakuro, it's right here in this page, Hakuro. And his family are traveling to like the east of Central or whatever, and a bunch of terrorists have decided to take over the train and hold them hostage to get their leader out. I mean, come on, this is like Braveheart, but not Braveheart. This is like a crap. I got Die Hard. That's it. Die Hard. Why did I say Braveheart? That doesn't make any sense. This isn't a Care Bear thing. Whatever. Okay, never mind. You know what I'm talking about. So this is kind of like Die Hard, with a bunch of terrorists take hostages and to like get their leader set, except it's not like a plan within a plan, like, oh, I just did this so that you think this is my plan, but in fact, haha, this in fact is my plan. No, that really is their plan. So they're not as smart as that goober fellow, but he fell from the towers. How smart was he anyway? Um, so anyway, yeah, they take these people hostage and they call with their demands and all that shit, and then Roy's like, well, we have to do crap about it, and everyone's like, well, we can't do anything about it. So they're going over to see who's on the train, and then Roy's like, oh, the Fullmetal Alchemist is on board. Like, oh yeah, that fixes it. And it's really funny because in the next panel we see Edward and he's sleeping, and that's just hilarious, and everybody's like complaining about how he can sleep and everything. And of course, the only thing that wakes Edward up is when people, when this one guy calls him a little runt, and like, Edward is pissed off. It's like, hello. That's like the one thing that pisses Edward off. Whoa, is calling him little. So yeah, don't call Edward Elric little. And he like beats the shit out of the guys and everything. Baff. I love that. That one's my favorite. That's like what makes the manga so friggin' goofy. It's like Edward's like do all this shit. And so then they tie the bad guys up after they like whack them and everything. And so then people complain about, hey, dude, you just made the situation worse by beating these guys up. I was like, dude, hello? Obviously they're not such badass if one little boy can beat them up. Even if he has had training from Izumi, it's like, dude, really? I mean, there's a crowd of you. You can't take these guys down? Are you that civilian enough that you can't, like, stand up for yourself? So yeah, some of those dumbass civilians piss me off. But anyway, the story's about Edward, and so then the rest of the story is about Edward being, like, awesome and everything, and Alphonse also gets to be bad guys and all that stuff, fun stuff. It's just funny how he does it. And the bald, like, the guy's name is Bald. I don't know how that translated, but that's kind of weird. But okay, so anyway, and he's got an ornamental arm too. But this one has a gun on the end of it. So he's like, because he was part of the army, but then he like left to be part of like the rebellion or whatever. I mean, there isn't an active war going on, just like random terrorist cell groups. So you know, it's not that far off from what happens in real life sometimes. So anyway, now he's trying to kill Edward, and Edward gets a bullet shot into his metal leg right there. So yeah, that was pretty cool because it's like he's not hurt, but he could have been hurt if he had a real leg. And in the anime, in this episode, this is where we are first introduced to Maze Hughes, and Maze isn't in the chapter here. So like nobody on Roy's team. Okay, well, Hughes isn't technically on Roy's team, but they're like best friends. And so that's why they talk and do shit. So yeah, I don't know why they decided to have Maze in here, but he isn't. And so yeah, Edward does a whole bunch of things with guns and booming and everything before he figures out that, oh hey, you're doing more of that stuff and you can actually blow the train up. So instead, he decides to flood it. Yeah, so, and that can also potentially destroy the train, but it's better than some things. And so yeah, they defeat Bald. See, there is defeated. bald, you failed, you are a bad, bad, bad guy. It's like, dude, he needed to take lessons from, like, what's a good bad guy? Like Joker, but Joker was, like, crazy, so I guess his evil plans really didn't matter. Whatever. And so then you get to meet Roy and everything, and of course he and Edward don't get along. And then Bald gets up and he's, like, gonna try and do shit. And, like, Roy sets him on fire. That's, like, the first thing you see Roy do is set this dude on fire. Um, and not, like, to die, but he has, like, third-degree burns or something. And, like, that hurts. Like, my brother, one time when he was, like, really little, like, okay, in the old times, okay, fine, 90 something, you know, ladies would, like, hot curl their hair and stuff, and my mom had a hot curler station, and it was filled with water that would boil, and, because you had to plug it into the wall, you put the water in, and the heat from the boiling water would heat up the curls that stood on the prongs, and then you would put it in your hair and stuff. And my brother, being stupid, he tried to yank on it, and my mom was like, no, don't yank on it. And then he did it again, and he got, like, burned, and my mom, like, put him in the shower and, like, put the cold water on and tore off his clothes, as he was, like, a little kid, as fast as she could. And the paramedics, when they came, said that she did a good job because it really helped, with the burns that he did get, because it wasn't as bad as it could have been. So people, if you get burned, put whatever part that you got burned under cold water for, like, 3 minutes, and that will make the burn, like, not be so bad. So anyway, yeah, okay, that's the first volume of the manga, Fullmetal Alchemist. I don't know if you like this or not, but, you know, I hope I do. I hope you do. And I'm tired. I need to go to bed. It's like 11 o'clock here. So yeah, I'm going to be doing this for some of my other manga. So stay tuned. Good night.